Hey, welcome back again. My name is Dave Skidmore, and I'm your facilitator for the 5-minute counselor sessions. I'm continuing in a series of videos entitled How to Thrive and Survive as an Oil Patch Family. And today's video is entitled What Do You Really Value? Or another way of putting it is, what are the most valuable things in your life? I want to talk to you about big picture stuff. I want to talk to you about values, core values, and I found this kind of interesting and really pleasing in a lot of ways because as I was interviewing both healthy and unhealthy families in regards to their oil patch lifestyle, values came up whether explicitly or implicitly, and I found a really clear correlation between having an agreed upon set of values and healthy relationships and healthy families. And so let me unpack what I mean by this. It really boils down to the big picture. I kind of alluded to this in the last video, and by the way, if you haven't seen that, I invite you to go back and work your way up through the videos, starting with the orientation video. But as I mentioned in the last video, you got to kind of know where you're going with this. Are you in it as a vocational career choice that you plan to do for a few decades? Or is this a simple get-rich-quick kind of plan because you want to save some money for a business, or you want to get a debt, or you want to buy a house, all of which is fine. I don't really feel any condemnation in that whatsoever. But once you decide that, it also relates to your values. Like, what do you really, really value? If you are the kind of couple that values people and relationships over having a lot of money and material possessions, it changes the decisions you make and how you approach this whole thing logistically. Now, let's be real here. Having money is more fun than not having money. But having said that, the couples that I interviewed in terms of having a really healthy values, lifestyle and values, valued money certainly, but it wasn't a core value. It was their core values were more wrapped up in family relationships, making their marriages work if they're married, making sure their children were healthy. They had a different set of core values than those who are simply trying to get the latest toy, the latest gadget, the newest vehicles, the bigger houses. And frankly, to be honest with you, the first set of people who had core values that were really around relationships just seemed happier to me. Once you decide what it is you value, it really helps you determine not only how you approach being a oil patch family, but also some of the lifestyle decisions that come with that. And this is where I think on a negative side of things I've seen, because people who hadn't really thought of their values very much kind of, I don't know how to say this nicely, but kind of fell into somebody else's value system. So, as I said, they had to have the biggest and the best of everything, and saw the fact that they might be making six figures as an opportunity, and would go into debt. Credit card debt was huge, and as a result of trying to have so many things, would often get themselves into financial trouble. And you and I have been around the block long enough to know that money is one of the major causes, if not the number one cause, of stress in a relationship, which is crazy if you've got a family income which is well into six figures per year. And yet that has been my experience, that these folks who are making a whack of money they fight about money a lot. And I think you track it back, it really goes back to core values. What do you really, really value, and how does that play out in your life? So I want to get this on your radar as a conversation. What is your long-term goal with this? Certainly, but why are you in this? And what are your core values? And you got to make sure you're on the same page as this as well, because that was some of the stuff that I saw with couples where his core value was a little bit different than her core value, and she was valuing this and this and this, and he was valuing this, this, and this, and because they weren't on the same page, there was a lot of conflict that came out of that. So my counsel to you is to have a good, hard conversation about what it is that you're willing to die for. That's kind of what a core value is. It's what you're willing to live for. It's what you're willing to die for. It's a thing that that you just really feel is of central importance to you. And at the end of the day, when you have lived your life, your core values are probably the best expression of your character and your personhood more than anything else. Let me just be straight up here. I mean, I've been around the block on this one more than a few times with various people. I think people with a core value of getting rich are making a colossal mistake. Colossal mistake. I've been at the bedside of so many dying people as a clergy person over the last 30 years, and I have never, ever, ever heard anybody call for their checkbook or want to see their ownership papers on their houses or their cars. I've never heard anybody talk about that stuff or care about that stuff when that time of life comes. What I have heard people talk about, either with joy or with sorrow and regret, I've heard them talk about relationships and family and friends or the lack thereof. And so just a word to the wise guys, if you're thinking about what's really valuable in life and what your core values are, number one, you need to decide for yourself what they are. Don't let somebody else decide for you. And number two is, if I can be blunt, get your head screwed on straight here, because in the end, who cares how big your bank account is if you're sitting in a house alone by yourself? So just a couple thoughts for you there. I hope that's helpful. As a final word to you, an encouragement to you, given God and given time, anything is possible. So don't get into a well of hopelessness and despair. And if you find yourself in there, contact me. Just give me an email. You can contact me mainly through dcs@echurch.ca or cityreach@echurch.ca, or you can Facebook me or hit me up on YouTube or whatever the other social medias we have going. I just invite you to do that. And I certainly will be praying for you guys, okay? So thanks for joining me today. And I trust that this has been a great thing for you. Let your friends know if this would intrigue them. I just trust that things are working out well for you guys. You take care. Bye for now.